I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews with Alan Scott, advisor to the Railgun Project. Alan, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, I really appreciate being here. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's dive straight into DeFi, privacy-preserving protocols, a huge topic moving forward as more institutions come into the space, more people are looking for privacy from their public blockchains. Enterprises as well are looking to not show everything that they have on the blockchain and showing all their cards. And there's different solutions coming out in the space right now, but I know that Railgun is working on something particularly interesting that we are going to dive into today. So let's kick it off from you by just getting an overview of the Railgun project, and then we can dive into those details.
Yeah, absolutely. So to put it simply, Railgun is a smart contract system that allows you to do DeFi privately. And the way they do that is it allows you to take and put funds into a private balance that is held on the Railgun smart contract. And then you can use that private balance just like you would with any other wallet to interact with things like Uniswap, SushiSwap, yield farms, private staking, and the like.
Very cool. Okay, so there's a lot to break down in there because there's so many different assets you could be trading with, different blockchains, different DeFi protocols. As you mentioned, Uniswap and some of these major decentralized exchanges, makes sense that those would be applicable for this. Are there any limitations with this? Can you take Bitcoin or Ethereum and just move it to Railgun?
Yeah, so we're actually working with the folks over at Ren Labs to be able to take and wrap Ren BTC directly into a private balance. So yeah, it'll be really, really exciting for people who want to take and privatize their Bitcoin and use DeFi with that Bitcoin. In terms of the, I guess the limitations are really, the sky's the limit, I think. We built, I was really trying to find something there, but I think, in terms of like the anonymity set, it's really important to take and build TVL and activity out of the smart contract. I think this is really important. And we're going to do that by way of the SDK that's been developed. So we have a developer kit that is, it's really easy to use. So the integrations for people who are DeFi builders in the space will be really quite easy. And we're really excited about that.
Very cool. That's great to know. And with moving Bitcoin or Ethereum, for example, into Railgun, normally every Bitcoin transaction is perfectly transparent on the Bitcoin blockchain and Ethereum the same as well. Maybe you can talk about how does adding in Railgun preserve privacy and does it change the block explorer for those assets?
So this is interesting. So yeah, I guess a bit of color. A lot of people are really quite surprised if they're new to the space that crypto is really quite public. In fact, I mean, Ethereum is a public ledger blockchain, right? EVM is just that, right? So whenever you're transacting on not just Ethereum, but Bitcoin or Polygon or Binance Smart Chain, Solana, the list goes on, right? All of these things have block explorers that basically take and distill down all of this information. It allows people to take and track transactions and verify them, right? And it used to be that like the pseudonymous nature of your address, like on Ethereum, was enough to take it, perhaps at least obfuscate who you are as a person. But now, as adoption has increased and like transactions and daily transactions are just, going to the moon, and more users are coming into the space, it's starting to become clear that heuristics alone can take and identify you, which, when it comes to your financial data, perhaps really isn't desirable even on an individual level. So you can think, for example, if you were to go to Dunkin' Donuts or something like this and swipe your debit card or swipe your credit card, and then everyone who attended that Dunkin' Donuts and the corporation Dunkin' Donuts and the person who took your order all have access to your financial data, you would probably find that to be a real egregious breach of your privacy, right? And people would be, they should know that this happens in crypto, right? In fact, there's, really large players in the space like Chainalysis and Nansen who are, applying AI and a lot of different techniques to the blockchain space in order to take and collect, collate, and then sell your financial data. Now, what Railgun does is it's basically in stark opposition of this, right? And it allows you to take and self-adjudicate who has access to your financial data. So if you want to take and send USD privately, or if you want to, USDT, you want to send any other stables privately, you can do that with Railgun and not dox yourself.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so then you asked on the blockchain explorer what that would look like, which is always an interesting thought. So if you have funds in the Railgun smart contract system, and let's say I send it to you and you're in Railgun, the only thing that you would see out of the black hole of liquidity that Railgun creates, you would just see that money came out of the smart contract, but you don't know who from and from what balance or anything like that, which is protecting that person's privacy as they're acting.
Definitely, that's good to know. And is this, whenever there's privacy preserving protocols that come out, there's always some media or actors that are like, this is just to help criminals, or this is just to help people that are trying to hide something. Do you see that as the case, and if so, or if not, are you particularly catering this to institutions, enterprises, or individuals, or is this really for everybody?
Yeah, so the privacy for bad actors, straw man is definitely frequently brought up, right? And I think that that's a bit disingenuous, because most people understand that privacy is a human right. And take, for example, your medical records. You wouldn't want everybody to have access to your medical records. In fact, if you were to take and pay, let's say, a lawyer for their services, right, you would want that to take and be private. And in fact, your lawyer, as your legal representative, has to actually do that by law, right? They're supposed to, keep things privileged. But even just something as simple as, like we talked about, I mean, imagine a world where you're at, some vendor, if you go to Target or Walmart or Trader Joe's or whatever it may be in your neck of the woods, and you swipe your card, and then they have access to your entire financial data, history, current balances, and then can track you into the future. Like, this would be very, very egregious overstep against people's, personal financial privacy, right? I think people really value personal financial privacy. In fact, I think that's why we have so many anons on like crypto Twitter, right? They don't want people to be able to just track them as a person. And I completely respect that. I believe everyone has something to hide, right? I believe that's particularly true when it comes to your financial information. In terms of who we're catering to, I guess it would be anybody who wants to take and transact in DeFi and do that in a private and anonymous fashion. And this does tend to appeal to the larger whales and institutional buyers. If you're going to take and get into a $18 million position of some token, or develop some new farming strategy, you're probably going to want to do that in a private fashion. And so we're definitely gearing it towards those people.
Yeah, that makes sense. And thank you for clarifying about the retail stores. Yeah, it really does show a lot of information on, Bitcoin, blockchain, for example, and people can see that information moving forward to the future. And even if you don't have anything to hide, it's not good to be showing your bank account balance to every single person that you transact with. So that does make sense.
Yeah. So even on use cases from like a trader's standpoint, if you have like a new position that you want to get into that you're speculating on, or if you have like a sophisticated farming strategy, or if you have clients, right, who are tracking your wallet, your every move. As a trader, right, anyone can relate to this, right? Not every trade is a home run, right? And just having your track record on chain for the rest of forever can be a bad thing, right? It can lead to a lot of negative outlooks. And I think too, I'll give you a great example. As you may or may not know, we had a strategic partnership that was initiated with DCG. And one of the things that they did to partner with the Railgun DAO is put $7.5 million worth of DAI into the treasury, right? So in exchange for some tokens that the DAO voted to mint for them. Well, what was really interesting about that is our community, when we did this, it was actually like private, it was pseudonymous. It was Fund X that we had that we're going to do a partnership with. Well, it took the community just over 2 hours to figure out that it was DCG. Just a little bit of on-chain, block exploring, clicking on Etherscan, found out who it was, and it kind of forced the hand for us to go public with it, of course, which was not necessarily a bad thing. It's really awesome to have a partnership with DCG. They're really great big players, the epicenter of all things crypto. But you could see, like, from DCG's perspective, perhaps if they wanted to keep it private for a little bit longer, they weren't able to do so because on-chain analytics completely doxed them. Whereas if they were able to do that with some Railgun privacy technology, would not have been the case.
Definitely, and that is amazing. Congratulations on having such a big partnership. DCG are literally one of the biggest players in the space right now, if not the biggest. So congratulations on that. And maybe that's a sign of moving forward. There's been a huge growth in DeFi, and I'd love to know your insights on when do you think privacy preserving protocols for DeFi specifically are going to be like one of the main, if they will be, one of the main topics that people start talking about, because it seems like there's a lot of great solutions like this coming out, but it's not as, obviously not as popular as NFTs or just DeFi in general right now.
Yeah, I think that as the market grows more and more aware of just how not private it is, I think that this will be when people really start to care about privacy. But we can already see that there's a lot of different players in the space who are really excited about privacy, especially on like the trader side, on the institutional side. There's capital sitting on the sidelines that wants to participate in DeFi but chooses not to because it's not secure and it's not private. They're used to traditional finance where they can participate in a dark pool and be able to do large block trading in a private fashion without upsetting the market. And I think that this will be something that'll be really important going forward for these institutional players who want to get into DeFi. But then I also think on the individual level, people really desire financial privacy. And as more and more on-chain analytics get, more pervasive, I think that people will start to see that the tech is really, really important. But, we're starting to see glimpses of that now. I think like CoinDesk did a kind of like a privacy week. I think they did a lot of different articles just very recently about privacy, talking about like on-chain analytics and like different ways that they can maintain your privacy in the space. We're starting to see like zero knowledge is a huge trend in the space, and a lot of that tech is utilized in privacy preserving protocols. So I think people will learn about it if they're just interested in, zero knowledge technology. But I would say that probably 2022 is the year of PriFi, private DeFi.
I like that. And I really haven't heard that acronym before as well. PriFi, I like it. I think that's going to be, for retail traders, especially as you mentioned, I did see that in CoinDesk that they were talking about different ways to help your privacy. And I think, it's just awareness. People don't understand that so much of their information is public. And to make it worse, these analytic companies are profiting from that and selling your information. And that's what you don't want.
Yeah. It's one thing. It's one thing for somebody like Facebook to take and, market to you by way of, you being interested in some, I forget what it was. I was looking at some sort of like coffee. I think it was like Four Sigmatic. Shout out to those guys that ordered some of your stuff. But as a, it's like some sort of like mushroom coffee. I don't know what it is, but it looked trendy and I'd have a go at it. And, immediately after searching for it, I started getting all these targeted ads and stuff like that. But it's totally something different for someone to take and have public access to your financial data and then take and target you for anything, right? Or judge you whether or not you're creditworthy based on like your public address like this. I think it's just not good.
Definitely. And yeah, that's why a solution like this is necessary, especially for retail traders, that they don't really have all of that information at hand to understand what's happening to their own information behind their backs, and when they don't know it. So for those people, are they available to start using Railgun right now?
Yeah, so we actually have it deployed currently on Ethereum, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, and then if you just want to test the tech out, you can also do that on Ropsten, the testnet, and do that for completely free. But currently, yes, the beta is out, and we are looking forward to the V1 release. We're currently doing a security audit with the folks over at Trail of Bits. We take it very, very seriously. Security, making sure funds are safe is very, very important to us. So we've done a ton of audits. We've had one with ABDK, or multiple with ABDK. We've done one with Zokyo, and now we're doing one with Trail of Bits. Wow. Once that's finished, we will do our V1 launch, which will be complete with the Relayer network to privatize the gas, and we'll have the full V1 launch will come with the applications. We're actually developing a mobile application as well. There's one being developed that uses Railgun tech, so you can actually take and have a wallet that has built into the front end interface for the user in incognito mode, so they can take and use the Railgun tech and do it privately by way of the application that's being developed for Android and iPhone.
Amazing, Alan. Very cool. About the mobile app and about the V1 launch, I'll definitely be looking forward to that, and we should definitely follow up after that as well to see how the continued growth of Railgun is going. For the viewers that want to get involved right now and follow along with the community updates as you head towards the V1 launch, what is the best way for them to stay on top of it and to get involved in the community?
Yeah, so I think there's 3 great places to get information about Railgun. The Railgun Medium is really great. There's a lot of detailed articles that go into how the privacy works. It talks about all the updates. We have a weekly update that's published up there to let people know where development is and what we're working on at any given time. But then we also have a Telegram called Church of Railgun. Quite fun. A lot of really involved community members there. I think we have 3,500 or so people at the time we're recording this. And everyone's there very eager to help people learn and understand more about Railgun. The community is really bright and fun to be around. And then last but not least, I'd say to follow us on Twitter, because we'll leak a lot of alpha there about various snapshots and things that we're doing to incentivize people who are staking the Rail token.
Very cool. Amazing. Thank you so much, Alan, for coming on, explaining all of this to everybody and to me. I appreciate you taking the time out of the busy auditing schedule that you're working on towards V1. And you guys are doing a great job. So congratulations again on the DCG partnership. Everything so far, it looks good. Let's definitely follow up in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.